Wind shuts down pretty much the entire state of Wyoming. Also, more reasons I hate the Cascadia, the newer ones. And also defending my last video, and a lot of people had some things to say about that. Rusty and more on this episode of
the Clutch Trucker Channel.
Clutch Trucker, filmed before a live and fuzzy studio audience. Yep, you know him, you love him. Joe can't live without him. It's Rusty, the world-famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Okay, first off, yeah, Wyoming, basically the whole state shut down by wind. I'll move over a little bit, but look at this right here, okay? That's I-80. It's shut down basically between Cheyenne and Rawlins, Wyoming. Okay, and right here, that's I-25 shut down from the Colorado state line all the way up to I-90 where I-25 ends. Okay, if you watched my last video, yeah, I was delivering at Cheyenne at the Walmart Distribution Center today at 1 p.m. Got there a little before that, and of course, they decided they were gonna have to take like 4.5, almost 5 hours to get me out of there today. Makes me violent. So I thought I'd be able to run home and grab a shower and grab some supplies. Again, I had to have my wife just come by and meet me one more time and throw me some dog food and a pack of water and a couple other things. Because now I was gonna have to go about 55 miles out of my way to get even closer to Glen Rock, because I'm gonna pick up the lignite again tomorrow. That one did come through, but I gotta do the one-day turnaround on it. I gotta deliver it in Wisconsin by Friday. So I needed to get closer, and I-25 was shut down already earlier this afternoon. They had not closed Highway 85 out of Cheyenne, so I had to take that over to Torrington, up to Lingle, and Highway 26 back towards I-25, because between Wheatland and Glen Rock, it was still open at that. I-25 was still open, but no, as I'm doing that extra route, they shut everything down. So here I am. It is, what is it, Wednesday the 18th. I'm sitting here in the Dwyer Junction rest area, about an hour and 15 minutes away from Glen Rock, where I pick up tomorrow. Hopefully, the wind will die down and they'll open up the roads. Okay, technically the roads aren't closed for everybody. They're not closed for cars, but they're closed for trucks, light, high-profile vehicles carrying anything less than 50,000 pounds or 40,000 pounds, depending. And yeah, I'm empty. So that's me. But hopefully it'll open up in the morning. I can go pick up my lignite load and then start hot tunneling my way to Wisconsin. What do you think? Okay, next thing is my last video was talking about all about the newer Cascadias and the things I hate on them, the adaptive cruise control, that brake assist thing, where some of these lights are in here. But I got to replace one of the the whole assembly on this truck, because on my old Coronado, if you had a headlight bulb go out, you replaced the bulb. Just that one bulb. Well, now it's all in one big assembly. Yeah, and the OEM version of that is, depending on who you call, anywhere from $950 to well over $1,000, because you got a headlight out. Hello! Luckily, there are some aftermarket ones, and I had called ahead to Floyd's in Cheyenne. Of course, they didn't have it. And they said, well, we got to charge you $185 for the freight. And they said, oh, well, because we got to get it from our store in Sydney. And I'm like, why didn't you say that? I'm going to be driving right past Sydney, Nebraska. So I picked up the thing today. Look at the size of this box this thing comes in. Hello. It's huge. It's mostly padding in there, but good Lord. Does it have to be this big? So yeah, you got to buy the whole assembly. The problem is my left headlight, the LED, let me show you this, right up here, this part, the top part, that's really, really dim, okay? And it's both your white marker light, and when your turn signal's on, it's also your turn signal in yellow. But that's almost out. And so you got to replace the whole unit. Now, the one I just showed you, I was able to get for about $347, which is still too much, way too much. But hopefully then, because it is all LED, maybe that'll be the last one I have to buy. It's the driver's side one. But probably before I get rid of this truck, I'm gonna have to buy the other side. I was buying LED headlights for my old Coronado for, $60 for the pair. And they last, a year or two. Even halogen bulbs lasted, well, they didn't last too long, about 6 months. And I was paying $60 a pair for those. But then you could just change out the marker light if you needed to, or blah, blah, blah. It's all one unit. Here's another reason I really hate these new Cascadias. Okay, so now I gotta defend myself on my last video. Okay, I got emails, I got texts from everybody saying, and plus tons of comments. Elliot was telling me a whole bunch of them saying, well, you weren't wearing your seatbelt. Why weren't you wearing your seatbelt? Blah, blah, blah. I was wearing my seatbelt, and I can prove it to you in a couple of ways. First, let me tell you why that little thing was on. When I bought this truck back in April and started running it in May, I ran the original seats in here for the first couple of weeks. And they are as uncomfortable as hell. And so I had not too long ago, about a year or so, maybe even less than that, had to buy a new seat, this one right here, for my old Coronado from Seats Inc., like I talked about in the last video. And the problem was when they installed it, let me take some video of this. This part right here, where you put your seatbelt into, the receiver, okay? You see, it goes down here to this little nut. I couldn't get that off of this old seat. So this is the one from my Coronado, okay? Now, the problem is, the Cascadia had this receiver thing on the original seat, and they have a little wire, and it's down there right now. Kind of, I don't know if you can see it right there, held in with a paper clip. Okay, and that little wire has a little plug on it. That's what tells the truck whether or not I've got my seatbelt connected. Well, I couldn't get that nut off, like I said, so I just went with that, and so I've been dealing with that light flashing at me all the time, but I actually have my seatbelt on. About the only other thing is when you put it in gear, it goes deet, 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 deet for about 10 seconds and beeps at you. Again, because it thinks my seatbelt is not on. But it is. So just to get by it for now, yeah, I shoved a paper clip into that little plug so it connects the circuit. So now my light is out on the dash. Look. Okay, so, you know, that's all that was. My seatbelt was actually on. See back here, you've got this thing where you can flip the thing up so it's not rubbing over your shoulder constantly. I've destroyed, I don't know how many shirts that way. So I put a little slack in it, and it'll hang maybe more like right across here, which you couldn't see in the video. See right here, there's the little thing. You can pull the seatbelt back. You can flip that little yellow thing up, and it'll keep it from constantly pulling over your shoulder. So I had some slack in there. And to those, a couple of people, or at least one said, well, you're driving down the road with your curtains closed. How the hell can you see? Blah, blah, blah. I was driving west. Sun is to my southeast behind me. I had moved my curtain over just a little bit to cover about a quarter of this window so the sun wouldn't blind the camera. I still can see my mirror. I was still doing everything right. So, you know, before you speak, you might want to double check. I'm not an idiot. I always drive with my seatbelt on. I always drive with all the curtains open. I just pulled it up a little bit to block that little bit of sun coming in straight against the camera. Is that acceptable? People always say, for YouTubers like me and a lot of comedians who post their stuff on YouTube, they say, hey, you ever want to feel really bad about yourself and get really down in the dumps, go read the comments. So now I got to try to get some sleep tonight with the wind howling all night, rocking the truck all night, which means I'm going to have crazy Stephen King kind of dreams. Look, here's how bad it's going right now. Look at that. Between 40 and 60 some odd miles an hour. Hello! So yeah, it's going to be probably a pretty restless night. And then we're going to try to pick up the lignite and drive all the way to Wisconsin. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in for that one. Just, yeah, a couple of quick things. Yeah, with all the wind, had to let you know about that. Also, yeah, I had to defend myself a little bit, you know. I mean, after all, come on. And, of course, then you got to see Rusty again, and that means he gets, you know what? You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, yes, he's buttering me up. All right, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please like and comment. Get your comments as soon as I can. It's been a while. I'm sorry. I've been so busy running my butt off, but yeah, it takes a few days sometimes or more because I'm a working truck driver. Clutch Trucker on Instagram, Clutch Trucker on Twitter, X, Clutch Trucker 5 on TikTok. Share, save, likes, thumb ups, and all that. Thumbs up. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty out. So, do you think I'm a little off base here? Yes, well, well, maybe just like a tad off base, a little bit, maybe if you just like lose like the blood and the bodies and the stuff. Okay, if I can change it, I'll get back to you in 5 minutes, okay? Hey, Grace, who was that? Elliot, Loudermilk. Yeah, he's done here. Really? Okay. Elliot Loudermilk, code 9. All right, Rusty, there you go. Oh, yes. The begging strip. The desire of all dogs, at least dogs that are awake. Right, Rusty? Oh, yeah. They're a little tough because the bag they were in weren't sealing, and I put them in another bag, but it takes them a little while to get through them these days. All right, here's one last little piece for you. There you go. Oh, yes, he's loving it. He's loving it. All right, let's have the happy dog look, Rusty.